When we turn on the TV, open our social media, read a newspaper, a book, or whatever, just if we're a little attuned to what's happening with the environment, we realize that the climate situation on the planet is not so favorable for us. The thing is, we all know what's going on, but the problem is that the most people don't know the direct impact of our actions to the ocean. And I don't blame if you are one of these people. But don't worry, I'm here to present you a solution, and it's not that difficult. Welcome to my channel, my name is George Jacob, and I'm here to talk about mangroves and climate change. I bet you heard something called an ecosystem. The one that is formed by the interaction of living organisms, such as plants, animals, microorganisms, and things like air, we cannot forget it, and things like air, soil, water, minerals. Remember? But have you ever heard something about ecosystem services? No? So my talk is with you. By ecosystem services, we mean the provision and availability of resources. And of course, the resource that I provided directly or not to us. That is, the entire framework of functions that nature has that are indispensable for the reproduction of life on the planet. Or basically, ecosystem services are the benefits that people receive for the ecosystems. But you can turn to me and ask, but George, why should I know that? Why so important? Well, it may be far from our knowledge or not so visible to our eyes, but ecosystem services are related to our well-being. Have you thought? The wellness we're about here isn't just sitting on a couch on Sunday watching The Voice while the world burns. Here we deal with components experienced and perceived by people, which are thus situation dependent, reflecting local geography, culture, and also ecological circumstances. Speaking of ecology, we are going to enter a habitat that is one of our favorite as a marine biologist, but one that is not well known as we want it. Do you know what is it? Okay, no more suspense. The mangrove. Mangroves are complex habitats which have great specificity because they are located at the interface between dry land, rivers, estuaries, and the sea. For this reason, mangroves are very dynamic habitats with large variation in water salinity, changes in tidal levels, soil stability, among other aspects. Because they are adapted to different conditions, these are considered habitats with high levels of resilience, that is, survival in adverse situations. I think you can guess why it's one of our favorites, right? Now that I've presented you my baby mangrove, I invited you to come with me that I will present you the specific ecosystem services of our mangroves. As I already mentioned, ecosystem services are the benefits that people receive from the ecosystems. And these will mainly include 4 services enumerated. 1. Production or supply services. Nothing more than food, pure water, wood, and vegetable fibers that we find in the mangroves, fuels, and others. 2. Support services. That is, they are services necessary for others to exist, which are primary production, nutrient cycle, and soil formation. 3. Cultural services. Services that cannot be missing, such as mangrove aesthetics, spiritual value, education, and also the recreational part. 4. Regulatory services, which mainly involves environmental regulations, mainly climate regulation. Well, I just recently told you that the mangrove is an important climate regulator. Can you imagine why? Studies prove that the mangroves are the habitats that have the highest rate of carbon dioxide sequestration. That is, mangroves leaves sequester CO2 from the atmosphere and deposit it in the roots and sediment. Now imagine with me. Here we have two soccer fields. One is full of terrestrial forest and the other one is full of mangrove forest. What has the mangrove forest absorbs 50 times more CO2 than the terrestrial forest. Therefore, that's why we say that by protecting mangrove forests, it is possible to reduce climate change. Now everything makes sense, right? On the other hand, if these mangroves are disturbed, you already know the opposite effect occurs. This large stock of carbon becomes a potential emitter of greenhouse gases, thus being harmful even for you. To maintain the ecosystem services provided by the mangroves, we have to understand what, in fact, threatens these habitats. Now come to my vision journey. The excessive rise in sea level and the consequences of human expansion, such as river pollution, slope deforestation, landfilling, and irregular construction, are the main threats to these environments. All caused by a species that we don't even need to say, right? During the Fourth World Ocean Summit, it was highlighted that about 1% of the world's mangroves are destroyed each year. And if we continued like this, all unprotected mangroves could disappear in the next 100 years. We know that mangroves are very important for maintaining the very ecosystem services mentioned above, those that we use directly or indirectly. Therefore, the threat to the protection of these ecosystems is also a threat to more than 40% of the world's population, who live close to mangroves and often depend on their resources. Since ecosystem services such as carbon sequestration have worldwide impact. Knowing this, we have to understand that the protection of these areas is an obligation that involves all spheres of coastal management. It is a federal obligation as well as a state and municipal one to ensure legislation that makes the conservation of mangroves and their ecosystem services be followed. In addition, the measures must not contain the legislation, but also the monitoring of these regions to follow up if such measures are being complied with, as well as the awareness measures of the people involved in this conservation process. We, part of the general population, who function as agents of change, be good or bad. Well, now that we know a little bit more about mangroves and ecosystem services, it's easier to think about what we can do to help to conserve this environment, right? Now it's up to you, my friend. And to make this video possible, I used many references that are here in the comment section below. So if you like this, you can subscribe to my channel where I can bring more content about this kind of thing. And also I have more content about that I will try to put here somewhere. And if you have any question or video suggestion, which I'm accepting, please send me. You can comment here on the comment section below, or you can find me on Instagram, and I will be very grateful to bring here to you too. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching this video, and I see you in another one. Bye.